The Botox face, the voice. I'm just hoping everything is sort of fixed in this trailer. But that might be copium. I'm so nervous. Can you guys hear this? I believe you can. I hope it's not too loud. So I just want to say as a brief introduction that this is a really, really big one. Like Steve, everyone knows me as a Mishima guy, but I did make a video not long ago where I talked a little bit about Steve and how he is, in my opinion, one of the greatest fighting game characters of all time. You can say whatever you want about his looks and the fact that he's a boxer, but it's his completely unique movesets. It's like this saying that us boomers go with. They don't make him like that anymore, and you don't see characters like Steve anymore in fighting games, and certainly not in Tekken. You know, he releases in 2001 in Tekken 4, and everyone goes 1, 2, and then as soon as we go for the kick buttons, expecting, you know, left kick, right kick, suddenly he ducks and sways. And you immediately knew you were in for something special with him. And you really were. And over time, the character became better and better. Those of you who don't know, in Tekken 5, in Tekken 4 and 5, he's busted. And in Tekken 5, he has a generic down forward 2. He just goes, whoop, safe on block, mid-launcher, natural hit. Not something we want to see with Steve. So he actually, with time, they refined the character. And he eventually became the counter-hit character, as you want to see with a boxer. So the character is a work of art, in my opinion. And again, like we've been blue-balled because they showed him off many months ago. They did, like, what was it, 4 or 5 months ago? And the face looked so weird, like Botox, puffy cheeks. Was he attacked by bees before the King of Iron Fist Tournament 8? So many questions. He sounds like a 6-year-old? Am I being generous here? Or is it a 5-year-old? Every trailer I've seen, he sounds like a kid. Like the voice director actually got his son in, and yeah, I don't know. But, okay, I'm nervous. That's why I'm talking so much. I'm nervous.
Get ready for the next battle. Tekken 8.
Counter-punching dragon. Ooh, yeah, on the official render. Where's the puffy cheek?
New challenger.
Looking good.
Stay Fox.
Let's go.
Looking good. Guard break. Skyscraper. Oh, sick combo. Back one to punish. Sick wall combo.
When it comes to who talks the most,
My god, obliterate that. My god. Did Kwis start crying when Steve dropped that line? Holy shit. Oh, heat smash. Oh! Oh, while running 2 is a launcher and it's a heat engager.
now this is what I call fun.
What?
That's a knockout.
That's a knockout! Good night, sir.
These are the fists of a champion.
Oh, he sounds like a squirrel.
Good night.
Good night. Sorry. Gameplay-wise, I need to watch it in slow motion because it's too fast. These trailers are too fast. Gameplay looked cool. I hope the identity remains of what this character is supposed to be. The general idea and concept of Steve. And so many flashy attacks. Outfit looks good. I can barely see the choker. Good. Hide it in the shadows. But the voice. The face looks better.
These are the fists.
it's still a little bit weird. I don't know if it's in certain angles, because in certain angles it looks great, but in certain angles, I wonder if when they do their portrait close-ups in intros and win poses, if they do something about the wide angle, you know how they can do that to... He looks a little bit weird sometimes, and sometimes he looks great. It's an angle thing, yeah. But I gotta say, the voice, man. What? Who is in charge of casting?
These are the fists of a champion.
And there's no oomph. Really? That's all the actor could go? Yeah! Give it something! Have you ever seen a boxer win a fight and go? Yeah!
These are the fists of a champion.
It's like... Any boxer, any MMA guy has more energy.
The fists of a champion.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they feel they want him to be sort of innocent and nice. It's just that it feels a little bit like Leo's wholesome voice, although Leo goes German, obviously. But I really like the render. Gameplay was really cool. Again, a lot of flashy new attacks.
New challenger.
This intro is really, really cool. Really like it.
Let's go.
There he looks great, right?
Let's go.
Here he looks great. And the dialogue here with Hwoarang.
Comes to who talks the most, you definitely win.
It's like, okay, that's arguably the best line so far in Tekken history. Although, I don't know, does he look weird here again? A little bit, yeah. And I feel like the lip sync perhaps wasn't top tier. Rage Art I thought was pretty good.
What I call fun. That's a knockout. Good night. Good night. Knockout.
It's almost like a Reppuken effect here, right?
Good night.
Good night. It's pretty cool. A little bit generic, but it's cool.
These are the
But so let's analyze the gameplay. Let's look at the gameplay. I'm gonna set this to 0.25. And again, his face here, looking good. Great shot of him. This seems to be a new attack. I do not recognize this move. It starts up a little bit like a down for 2, but this is obviously a high homing. Seems to be very safe on block. I don't think it's plus. Might be. They immediately show down for 2, which is a very important attack. So they know what we want to see immediately. Down for 2 and back 1. What do they do? Down for 2, for those of you who don't know, was homing forever and ever up until season 4 of... it was season 4, right? Not a later patch. Where they remove the homing property. And instead they make it so that it hits very low. It will catch King's, well, penis. Not ballsack. Penis. But it also hits, you know, characters. It will hit AOP unless Xiaoyu taps down during the AOP. It hits extremely low. But here you see a counter hit, right? And it does not knock down. So this is obviously an enormous change. In Tekken 7, this will knock down into either a Shiro combo, which is the hardest staple in Tekken 7. If you want something easier, you take a guaranteed follow-up. But so no knockdown here. But he seems to get a guaranteed Gatling. So this is a nerf, obviously. A lot of people I know wanted the Shiro to stay, but they were like, nah, they go for easier stuff these days, so we're gonna remove it. But you gotta remember that Shiro was unintended. They actually wanted down for 2 to not give a combo anymore. They only wanted the guaranteed follow-up. Shiro was sort of something players found, like, oh, this works, but it was never intended by the developers. So here, they're like, okay, fuck it, we can't even knock down here. So you just don't get a combo from down for 2. But it's also sad to see execution being removed from the character, right? Because Shiro is like, you know, it rewards high mechanical skill. And I like skill expression in that regard. I like all kinds of skill expression. So it would be sad to see Shiro go, but I think this is actually a nice compromise from the developers. They get what they wanted. They get the down for 2 no combo, right? You get a follow-up, a mini combo, but you don't get a float into juggle into wall combo. So the developers get what they want, but also interestingly, we get something back in that, like, we're not going to remove mechanical skill, though. This Gatling is not super easy to do, right? So you'll do, it's not as difficult as Shiro, but it's still something. So you'll do down for 2. You'll do down for 2, duck cancel, and then Gatling. So I think this is a nice compromise where the developers get what they want, and I feel like Steve still remains high execution. And, you know, it's still rewarded. And yeah, obviously, if you're at the wall, as Vic Black says, this is going to wall splat. So if he hits a down for 2 at the wall, it's just monster damage. So here we see something resembling a new stance. He jumps back. I can't see if he jumps back into flicker, though. Is this flicker? No, I don't think so. Is that Albatross 2 with a new animation? Yeah, this seems to be a new stance. So he backsteps into it. Doesn't look like a big deal, but in a game with heavily nerfed backdashes, this could be a lifesaver, to be honest. A really big deal. Takes a big step into stance. Backstep into stance. Twists 360. This is too fast to be Albatross 2. And this seems to be a high guard break, as you see on the window shatter effect here. This means he broke King's guard. And he might have a guaranteed follow-up here. He has 10 frames. So we're showing here, this breaks the guard and he gets 10 frames. So he gets 112. Wait, 112 into duck in. Is this possible in Tekken 7? Now I feel stupid. Is that possible? It is. God. And here I thought I knew how to play Steve. Okay, 112 duck in and he does skyscraper, right? No, guard break. Guard break is still in, but doesn't guarantee anything anymore, it seems. So those of you who don't know, this breaks the guard in Tekken 7 so that you get a guaranteed the same attack again. You do the guard break and then you duck again into 4-2 and it's a guaranteed knockdown. Or you get a guaranteed wild man if you have very strong execution. It's very strict though. So here we're showing that nothing's guaranteed anymore with the guard break. Very intentional showing this. So your guard break is now going to be from that new stance. And it seemed very fast. Very fast. So the question is, does he have a mid mix-up from that stance? But maybe that would be ridiculously strong. I don't know. Skyscraper 2 still a launcher. Skyscraper, I mean. Not Skyscraper 2. That's really cool filler. So he has a twister option, which is really good for combos. Wait, this is the new stance. Isn't this the new stance? I think it is. So if he presses 4, whoop, and does the 1-2, which is no longer a launcher, by the way, mid-high, he goes into his new stance. So here they show you immediately, he has a mid from it. And it could even potentially be a launcher. Imagine if that's a natural hit launcher. I gotta say, I would not like that. I hope that's a knockdown, because otherwise, I don't want Steve to be a 50-50 character in that way, and I want him to rely on counter at launching. Because, you know, that would mean he's going to mix you up with a high homing guard break that gives a guaranteed 1-1-2 or a mid launcher, right? But the question is that going to be a mix-up? Is this a launcher? We don't know. But it's a bound as well. 4-2-1? No? I'm at Sonic Fang. Hop kick is going to get punished by back 1-2. Geesh, geesh. And goes into the new stance. Back 1-2 also goes into new stance. It seems to be an automatic transition. Duck in 1. And here we see the new Wallcom, I guess. 4-2-2. Oh, 4-2 has a new extension. They changed 4-2-2. 4-2-2, 1+2 is my guess. Wow, that's a really cool string. And I wonder if that's probably not a natural. You know, he usually does 4-2-1 and it's strong on block. And he goes into flicker or peekaboo into mix-ups. So now he'll be able to do, you know, 4-2-2, which he could do in Tekken 7, but not a very threatening mix-up. This looks like, you know, probably not a natural combo, I guess. But I'm guessing if you try and duck 4-2-1 and go for a punish, this is going to counter it to you, and then he gets the entire string, is my guess. And it's going to hurt a lot, and it's going to wall splat. Bromance. Of course, and back 1, those of you who thought that was not going to be a launcher, back 1 is still a launcher. So this is a really, really, really big deal. This. Because now we of course know that this is a game that has removed pretty much every single Magic 4. They are still there, it's just that you have to commit to something very unsafe to get the launch. King has to do back 1-2. Law has to do 4-3. And many of you actually don't know that Martial Law, not only does he have to do 4-3 to get a juggle instead of 4 alone, but did you know that the Magic 4 is not 11 frame startup anymore on Law? It's 13, like Steve's back 1. Like, they've gone so far. I'm thinking Lee is going to see the same thing. Have to commit to dual hits and start up at 13. They've really neutered every Magic 4 option in the game, or every back 1 style attack. They just don't launch anymore. Or you commit to something ridiculously unsafe. So his back 1 still being a launcher is a monumental thing, because now he stands pretty much uncontested in the neutral here with that counter hit, due to the nerfs to every other option that stood in his way. Like, including, for example, Kazuya's Magic 4, which top Kazuya players find is a really big help playing against Steve in Tekken 7. Due to Kazuya's 12-frame startup, and Steve is usually very close to you. Kazuya's Magic 4 is limited reach, but against Steve, it's actually really good. But now it's like, yeah, Kazuya's Magic 4 knocks down into a 4-4-4. And that's pretty much it for every, like, Jin's, you know, leaves them standing for a 1+2 or down for 1-4. So Steve's back 1, if it also retains its Tekken 7 properties, like gigantic hitbox, very generous hitbox, -1 on block should he go into flicker, like, and 13 frame startup. Like, if that remains, like, Steve is, wow, Steve's neutral. And it also solidifies him in terms of identity as the counter hit guy, right? This back 1, it stands out quite a bit in Tekken 7, but in Tekken 8 now, with the universal changes in the game, like, Steve is going to be that much more unique, I think, with that option. So I like this. It really enhances his identity due to more so system changes. What is this? Oh, this is 2-2. Yeah. Peekaboo 4-2-1. Wall splat. It's gonna get punished. Ah, you see? Back 2. That's his fastest block punish launcher at 17 frames. His fastest. But it doesn't launch anymore. Doesn't launch anymore. This launches in Tekken 7, and you have to do an immediate manual flicker 1-up-1 to bound. But no, doesn't launch anymore. Gives a guaranteed Sonic Fang heat engager. Wow, that's a really big deal. So unless they show another launcher, like, he's not going to launch anything on block anymore, standing. That's a really big deal. Oh, so your launch is going to be, and this is going to be tough to do for a lot of people. Like if someone's like, something's like -20 on block, you can, or more, you can do a manual, you block, wait to recover, and then you do a manual peekaboo DP up for 2. That will probably be your fastest block punish launcher. But this is a really big deal. And again, it has to be said, enhances identity even more. That's always been a problem with Steve. Like, your punishment is really weak. Well, now you're basically never going to launch anyone. It's like, this is extremely unique, what you just saw here with the back 2. So I gotta say, like, yeah, they're doing very interesting stuff here. Yeah, they are really trying to separate the characters from one another. Yeah, and right. And, you know, in Tekken 7, it's actually quite viable to run up to someone and 50-50 with a low, any low, or back 2. I mean, it's unsafe back 2, so you don't really want to do it, but it's still semi-viable. You can do that. But now you don't have a quick mid-launcher unless you opt for something slow, like an orbital, or again, you go manual peekaboo DP, but now you're launch punishable at -15. I gotta say, like, I do agree with these changes. It's really cool. So here's the Heat Smash. So Sonic Fang. But so I guess if he is in Heat, back to Sonic Fang, Heat Dash is going to be a launcher, right? So that is pretty scary. But you have to remember that as soon as you launch with a Heat Engager like that, there's just gigantic scaling on anything you do. So in theory, it sounds like it should do 1,000,000 damage, but when you see it, it's like, oh, that did like 35%. Heavy scaling. So Heat Smash. Extremely cinematic. Oh, that's a really sick one. That's the new attack again? Oh my god. Is this counter hit or normal hit? Does he press from the flamingo here? Yeah, that's guaranteed. Wait, are you joking? Is that a mid heat engager? I just like the space control here on Mr. Steve Botox. Like, that's a homing high that guard breaks, right? That's what we've seen. I think so. No, wait. No, that's not the guard break. That's not the guard break. Now he goes into the stance, right? Yeah. So there he has a high guard break and a mid heat engager that's homing? Is that what we're showing? This is homing into homing. I mean, what the fuck? fuck is this? That's gonna be fun. Hey boys, we buffed the sidesteps. Well, but to be fair, that's always been Steve though. You never step Steve. His 1-to-1, you know, it just tracks like all over the place. And his back one and everything. You don't really step Steve. Against Steve, you want a backdash. Backdash against him. But this, like... And this, if this is normal hit guaranteed, I hope not. But even if it's counter hit, it's just really strong. So you can threaten me there with a homing heat engager or a guard break high for a free 1-1-2. It's like, okay. Oh, so here we start seeing heat options. That's a special duck in. Super fast duck in. That's a heat thing. Wait, is this a heat throw? What? Oh, this looks like he has multiple options. Did we give him a chain throw? This is a clinch. Offering Horang some emotional reassurance here after he roasted him. Gives him a hug, a bro hug. Everything's okay. And then just the backstab. Geesh! That's a clinch. That's really cool though. Really sick throw. And here's while running 2. A heat engager, meaning it launches here when he's in heat. It's probably still +9 on block as well. But again, risky due to large sidesteps in Tekken 8. Forward 2-2 alone goes into new stance. Oh, these are gonna be fun mix-ups to deal with. Forward 2-1, forward 2-2, string, forward 2-2, new stance, guard break. It's like, oh god! Oh, this is gonna be a dream matchup. Holy shit, he's gonna be obnoxious. And Albatross 2, back 1. Flicker 1, Albatross 2 throws them far away yet again, but slides them across the ground, so it's not going to give wall travel. And they've done a lot to nerf wall travel with certain characters. Brian still takes you wall to wall. And here we have a Rage Art.
A knockout. Good night.
Okay, so I'm gonna roll it at a bit lower volume and just a recap. Back 1 still a launcher. Stands pretty uncontested in the neutral due to what they've done in terms of universal gameplay changes in Magic Force across the board have either been removed or greatly nerfed, made super unsafe. If Steve's back 1 has the same properties as Tekken 7, 13 frame startup, -1 on block, recovers quickly on whiff, he's going to be a neutral god. Like, he's already a god there in Tekken 7, but in Tekken 8, it's like, he's going to be completely unique in that. With that 13 frame counter at launching high. Pretty much completely unique, I think. Down for 2 does not give a Shiro anymore, but gives a Gatling that's going to do a lot of damage. It's not a launcher, but it's sure as hell is going to kill you at the wall, flat out kill you. And again, I think it's a neat compromise that the developers never wanted that to be a launcher, but still, you have some identity left in that it's still a very technical follow-up. So it does kill at the wall, and still, you know, mechanical skills, so well, still fits Steve quite well. And Gatling Rush has always looked really cool. The new stance is really cool. He has a lot of stances now, Steve. Like every type of duck or sway he does is a stance in and of itself. And then he famously has the Mike Tyson peekaboo. He has flicker. And now he has this new stance where he shifts with his feet. He can actually backstep into it as well. Seems to have a lot of disgusting options. It seems like in this new stance now he has a very fast homing high guard break that gives +10 on block where the opponent can't guard. That's a guaranteed 1-1-2 into frame pressure. He seems to have a homing mid heat engager. Oh, let's watch King J. No, wait, he's gonna copyright slam me, I think. I don't know. I need to back away. Let's see. Much love to King J, by the way. I hope he liked Steve. But he seems to have a mid-homing heat engager. I don't know if that's going to be safe or unsafe, but that's the thing with Steve. Everything he does is safe. You know, he's very, very safe. And now you're wondering, why is he allowed to be safe? It's because in a really cool paradox or duality, he offers you the exact same. He says, I'm going to be really safe now. I'm going to be safer than any other character you've seen in this game. But what I give you in return is that you will be super safe in this matchup as well. You will be able to do your big Atlas Hammer King. Your huge, where every other character would launch you for it easily. I'm not going to be able to launch you for it. That's what Steve does. And I love that duality with the character. It's really beautiful. And there's a lot to be said about him, what makes him so unique. Again, work of art character. Yeah, I'm just wondering, is he going to have a new stance with a high guard break, a mid homing heat engager, and a mid launcher down for 2? It's like, and he seems to have so many options of going into that stance. 4-2-2 stance, back 1-2 stance, high stance. It's like, it's this. I mean, yeah, in terms of pressure, like this is looking pretty disgusting. Oh. Look how quickly he does a guard break here. But yeah, I don't want to ramble on for too long. I can talk about this character for hours. But I gotta say, he looks really, really, really cool. Steve remains Steve. They've just added stuff to him and fleshed out what he's already supposed to be. And again, with the universal changes to Magic 4s, he's even more unique now, I think. He's even more unique. And I thought it was a really good idea to make it so that back 2 is not a launcher. So that, no, let's back. They gave him back 2 as a launcher, and when we say, let's backtrack on this, we don't want Steve to block, punish, launch. I completely agree with that assessment. So yeah, I mean, I gotta say, like, everything gameplay-wise, the new outfit is growing on me. Amazing. The only problem I have is his face in certain angles still looks a little bit off. And I gotta say, the voice is too... He sounds like a Boy Scout. He's supposed to be a cool... In my opinion, I mean, again, what is he supposed to be personality-wise? That's up to the Tekken developers, obviously. But I'm just expecting a young feisty, edgy boxer to have a little bit more oomph in his voice. Just a little bit more. He sounds way too childish, in my opinion. But great trailer. Great trailer. And after what was, you know, a pretty dull... I'm so sorry, YouTube, for not uploading my Leo trailer reaction. Maybe I'll do that today. But that trailer was kind of boring, I have to say. So it's nice to see something like this instead. But yeah, really well done to developers, I think. And again, yeah, honestly, most of the time here, he looks great. Yeah, this is a great shot of Steve. Really good.